Hey everybody, welcome to my channel. It's me, Monet, and it's my first YouTube video in a very long time. Like, I used to YouTube when I was in high school, but which was like 7 years ago. But I decided to get into video blogging since I have taken on a new journey in life, which is surrogacy. So this channel will mostly be about my surrogacy journey. In this first video, I'll talk about what inspired me to be a surrogate, the steps it takes to be a surrogate, like the different agencies and stuff like that. And I'll just talk about where I'm in now in the process and what's left for the process. So let's go. So before I get started, I just want to talk about what surrogacy is for those who may not know or be unsure. So surrogacy is when, well, there's two different types of surrogacy. First of all, two different types. There's gestational and there is traditional. Now, gestational is what I'll be doing, which is when they take another woman's egg and a man's sperm. So like maybe a husband and wife who can't have kids. And they make an embryo and they implant the embryo into another woman, the surrogate. So I will have no blood ties or anything like that with the child. It'll have its own parents. I'm just a carrier. Traditional surrogacy is when it's just the surrogate's egg with a donor sperm or the intended father's sperm. So I probably would never do traditional just because like I would not want to sign my baby away. So at least with gestational, it's not mine. I'm just carrying it. And it's just, like I said, just to give someone a child that can't have children. And with that being said, I wanted to talk about my inspiration to be a surrogate. I grew up knowing a few women who could not carry children. And even though when I was younger, I just thought that was devastating that, women are supposed to carry kids, but some of them can't. And so even when I was younger, like I said, it's always been something on my mind and my heart. So as I got older, I would hear about, oh, this celebrity had a surrogate, that celebrity had a surrogate. And I just thought like, oh, it must be nice to be famous enough or rich enough to have somebody carry your child. Like I thought only rich, famous people could have surrogates. And then got a little older, did my research and found out that pretty much anybody that can afford a surrogate can have a surrogate. And then I thought like, oh, you must be like a special kind of woman to be a surrogate. And come to find out, like as long as you meet basic requirements, like you could be a surrogate. And some of those requirements are between the ages of 21 to 43. And these requirements that I'm giving you are, they vary between different agencies. Different agencies have different requirements, and also it's based on the state laws and stuff. So another requirement is a BMI, body mass index, of no more than 33. So, calculate your body mass by your height and weight. So typically fat people can't be a surrogate. Because usually like certain body mass of thicker people. Other requirements are you cannot be on government assistance except Medicaid. They don't really mind Medicaid. But you can be on food stamps and Section 8 or cash assistance. Reason being is because the government, gives you cash and food and all these things because you don't make enough on your own. So surrogates get compensated a very nice amount of money, and the government might say, hey, you're receiving all this money, so why are you on food stamps? Why do you need cheaper rent? And they could report you for fraud. So agencies just don't want to deal with that. because the agency could be reported for fraud as well. So most agencies will just be like, no, you got to be some type of financially stable on your own. Reason why they don't mind Medicaid though is because Medicaid, if your insurance covers pregnancy, then they don't care whose the babies is. If they just cover pregnancy, it's the whole IVF process that Medicaid doesn't cover. If you don't have insurance, if you don't have health insurance and you want to be a surrogate, the parents will pay for your medical. It just helps when the surrogate has their own medical. So that's some of the requirements. So being fit and not being on government insurance and being a certain age. Oh, you have to have at least one kid that you take care of. So if you have a kid but you don't take care of them, then you can't really be a surrogate, because you gotta have a kid that you're taking care of. You have to have, as far as your pregnancies, whether you have one or multiple, it has to be no complications. Some agencies do accept women who have had abortions and miscarriages. Some don't, or at least a certain number. So if it's like, oh, you had 1 or 2 miscarriages or abortions, like you might be okay. But like I said, they prefer none. Again, they prefer healthy pregnancies, healthy labors and deliveries. If you've had a C-section, most agencies require no more than 3. But they just want to know, like, you are healthy, you can carry a baby and things like that. So yeah, the requirements are pretty basic. Most people can probably meet those requirements. So right now, I want to talk about the steps of surrogacy. So when you find an agency that you want to work with, and if you're watching this and you want to be a surrogate, I suggest do your research, because I live in Ohio. For anyone who doesn't live in Ohio and you're watching this, I live in Ohio, and Ohio is legal and they're for it. There's some states that they forbid surrogacy, and there's some states that don't have laws, which means they're not necessarily against it, but they're not for it. You know what I'm saying? So, but Ohio has surrogacy laws. So do your research on the different agencies, and it's based on whatever you want. If you want a higher compensation, I know California gives higher compensation for surrogates because they're high demand. So yeah, just based on different states and agencies and stuff. And like I said, different agencies have different requirements, and just really do your research. Once you apply, they'll ask you like some basic questions. You answer those basic questions, they'll say, oh, you can move on to the next step. Some of the basic questions are basically about what I talked about as far as the requirements. They'll ask like things like that about vaccines and stuff. Have you had a healthy pregnancy? Are you on food stamps? And the basic stuff. Then you get to the real application, which is a lot of different tasks to do as far as sending medical records and what do you agree to as far as how many embryos that you will intake, what kind of family do you want to work with, homosexual, heterosexual, both, single parent, things like that. Insurance, like it's just like really in-depth stuff. Once you complete all the tasks as far as sending in paperwork and telling them a little bit about you, you'll hear from a coordinator, and they'll tell you if you got approved. If you got approved, they'll want to move you on to the next step, which is screening. So screening, I will have my screening on Thursday, December 27th, and it's basically a psych eval, but it's like a personality get to know you. So I'll be on a Skype call with a social worker for 2 hours, and they're just going to ask me about myself, about my background, things like that. Again, I'll go over what I want to get out of surrogacy, what kind of families do I want to work with, things like that. But I mentioned like a psych eval. So, you know, they got to make sure you're not crazy or anything like that. So they're just going to, you know, make sure you're in the right mind to be a surrogate, because it's definitely something that can take a toll on you mentally and emotionally. Not everybody can handle something like that, you know, to carry a child for someone else. I know a lot of women who hate being pregnant. They get pregnant, they complain the whole time, or things like that. So if you don't like being pregnant, surrogacy might not be right for you. I enjoyed my pregnancy with my daughter. I haven't been pregnant in 3 years, but my pregnancy with my daughter was fine. And like, I don't mind being pregnant again and to do it through surrogacy. Lost my train of thought. Okay, where was I? So, after the screening, I will sign like a little contract. It's a commitment contract, just saying that I commit to surrogacy, things like that. It just goes over everything as far as legal, insurance, what I'm committing to, and the compensation, so all of that type of things. And after that, my agency will start to try to match me with families. And the matching process is they'll send me a profile of a family looking for a surrogate. And if I say, hey, you know, I like them, I like, you know, what they stand for, I would like to work with them. Then they'll send the couple my profile and say, hey, here's a surrogate that wants to work with you. And they'll look and they'll say, oh, okay, well, you know, we like what she stands for and everything. So it's like just a matching, just like they like to compare it to like dating sites. Like, you know, you read somebody's profile, you say you like them, you have the same interests. So they say it's the same kind of concept, because you're about to carry these people's babies, and, you know, they want to know that it's going to be a good match. So once you get matched, they get lawyers involved. The lawyers draft a contract. You sit down, go over the contract with your lawyer, and you finalize it. You sign that contract. Shortly after you sign the contract, you get a medical screening. So even though like the agency already has your medical records, they want to just look at your uterus themselves. So they'll just check the uterus, see what it looks like and everything, and based on, I guess, your body and everything is how they'll prescribe your IVF medicine. So after your screening, you'll get prescribed a series of medicine to take, and you'll take that up until you get your embryo transfer. Based on what I've heard and seen, medications include folic acid, prenatals, birth control, estrogen, and progesterone. Estrogen and progesterone are injections. They're liquid, and you just inject them in your buttocks. I think the progesterone you inject in your stomach, and the rest are pills. Now, if you're asking, why do I have to take so much medicine? It's because they have to stop your ovulation. They have to stop your body from ovulating. However, if you're not ovulating, then your uterus is not thickening. So they have to prevent you from ovulating, but they have to get your uterus to thicken, so when they put the embryo in you, it can implant. So you'll take that medicine, like I said, for about 3 weeks, 3 or 4 weeks. Then you'll have your embryo transfer. You'll continue to take the medicine to kind of help that embryo implant. And 2 to 3 weeks after embryo implantation is when you can take your pregnancy test. So I want to say that it's for some people, everybody's body is different. So for some people it's 50-50, for some it's 75-25. Like, not every time you get an embryo there's a chance it might not implant. So that's something you have to emotionally prepare yourself for. Like, I'm excited, but I know I have to prepare myself for if they might put the embryo in me and I take a pregnancy test and it's negative. Some women are lucky enough to the embryo implanting the first time, but and I'm praying that I can be one of those lucky women. Some women struggle with multiple embryos not implanting. So again, I'm hoping that I can be one of those lucky women. I really don't want to go through failed embryo transfers just because the mother of the embryo is already dealing with her body not being able to conceive or carry. So it just would suck if her surrogate can't conceive the baby. So I'm just really praying that I don't have to deal with failed embryo transfer. And then again, after embryo transfer, if you get pregnant, you're carrying this baby, and then boom. So that's pretty much it. I just wanted to talk about in this video was my inspiration, the process, where I'm at now, and what's left to come. Again, my psych eval is on Thursday. I want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas Eve, Happy Holidays, and I want you guys to stay tuned because I will be making another video after my psych eval to let you guys know how it went. Please subscribe. I just started this channel, and it's so please subscribe. If you know anybody who wants to be a surrogate or just interested in just hearing about it, please subscribe, like, comment, and share, please. Thank you guys for watching, and stay tuned.